You got 10 minutes to hide a pen from a detective. If he doesn't find it, you get $1 million. Where would you hide it? In my ass. Minus 95% of people's first thought here. I'd poke it into my lawn. I'll give it to the kid who asked to borrow my Game Boy it in the 4th grade and then fucking hopped on a plane and moved back to the Philippines with his family that same night, unbeknownst to anyone in class. Do I have to be able to find it again? I live 5 minutes from the ocean, so I'd just paddle out for 5 minutes and chuck it as far as I can. I'll just write something with the pen and drop it from my desk. It'll go to some different dimension like they all do. How long does he get to look? Which celebrities have famously gotten away with serious crimes? This thread is a real eye-opener. So people like Britney Spears and Amanda Bynes have their names run through the mud after having breakdowns. But some other celebrities have committed actual horrible crimes and nothing happens to them. This is awful. Elvis Presley always had a thing for young girls and would invite them over for sleepovers. He was obsessed with virginal girls and called them cherries. Of course, he met his wife, Priscilla, when she was only 14. Yet people just shrugged this off and thought it was fine. Vince Neil killed someone drunk driving. In 1975, Aerosmith vocalist Steven Tyler convinced the parents of 14-year-old groupie Julia Holcomb to sign over guardianship to him so that she could live with him in Boston. Tyler, who was 27 at the time, dated and did drugs with Julia for 3 years before they eventually broke up after unplanned pregnancy, which resulted in an abortion. Tyler then returned Julia to her parents at the age of 17. That's just barely scratching the tip of the iceberg. It gets more messed up the more you dig into it. But nevertheless, Tyler would continue his successful music career and even be inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2001. Victor Salva, director of Jeepers Creepers. The man is a convicted pedophile who filmed himself molesting a 12-year-old boy and only served 15 months. Still making movies now. I do sometimes wonder how many DUIs get swept away here in Southern California. Congratulations, you just won a lifetime supply of the last thing you bought. What do you have? Lego. Oh boy. Baconators. Pretty short life ahead of me, but worth it. A lifetime supply of ibuprofen. Not amazing, but nothing to complain about. I've won me a lifetime supply of garlic bread. This is acceptable. I mean, great and all, but honestly, how many Godzilla costumes am I reasonably going to need? A lifetime supply of rum. Pirate's life it is. What's the most toxic community you've been in? Next door. It's a bunch of local people completely acting nasty towards each other. Name calling, gatekeeping, accusations, etc. Certainly not League of Legends. Last time I played I got tons of helpful tips on how to uninstall the game and kill myself. Gotcha life community. Depression and anxiety groups. It's filled with covert narcissists and it's just a competition about whose life is worse often. Who had the real right to feel depressed and anxious? Everyone talking about their healing journey and foregoing thoughts about anyone but themselves and their own personal journey. I try a new one every so often to see if there are normal people in them. But so far, nothing. League of Legends. I am a toxicologist and a member of the Society of Toxicology. That's a pretty toxic community, smiley face. Non-Americans. What is something in American culture that is so strange, abnormal for you? How difficult it is to get around if you don't have a car. Not everywhere. But there are some places that are just impossible. No footpaths, bike lanes, decent public transport. How American towns and cities are generally designed so that you have to drive everywhere. That the price on things in your stores are not the actual price but the price without tax and such. People have lunch on their desks. And usually it's just a snack. Where I come from, lunch is the most complete meal of the day. Repo men for vehicles and bounty hunters. Mainly the bounty hunters. That's some cowboy shit right there. Perhaps the extreme polarization in politics. I'm used to having many parties, which gives more nuances. In the US it seems politics became a team sport. And you end up with the, you're either with us or against us, mentality a lot easier. I think that is very detrimental for the country. But I guess there's no realistic way out of that. Nor any will from either of your leading parties to do so. If you could have one item that constantly refilled itself in your fridge, what would it be? Orange juice. Where would the world get all its saffron supply? Some random dude's fridge in Missouri. A lunchbox or bento. Shit man. Nothing could beat pulling out a meal on demand with zero effort. Water. After much consideration I have decided that some fridges already do that. Mom's leftovers.
Subscribe, my brothers.